Hello and welcome to Dawn's Craft Riot. Today I'm going to be making a very simple Halloween card. I'm going to be using K & Company paper that I picked up at the end of last year's Halloween season. This is the Kelly Panache specialty paper, and they're the Halloween papers. They're double-sided papers, and they have different treatments, but I think all the ones I chose today don't have any treatments on them. But we'll just get started right away. I pulled some of the paper from this pack. I pulled this one here as a base. I'm going to make the card base, and as you can see, I've already drawn a line where I want to cut this out. That's how big I want my card. I just traced another card. I flattened it out and traced it because that's how I roll. I also picked this really loud pattern paper. And it's got some pretty orange on the back, but I don't think we may or may not use that. And then another sheet that I'd already cut something out of. We're going to use this little guy, I think, as our card topper. So it's going to be really easy. It's just going to be doing a couple mats and cutting out a card topper, maybe doing some inked edge. So I'm going to start right off by just cutting out my card to the size that I want. I've got the SureCut, I think it's called a SureCut Fiskars trimmer. You can use the wire to line up where you want your cut to be. Now, will my paper fit with that lip? Not really. It's okay. Because of the end, it's longer than 12 inches, so it doesn't want to fit in the trimmer exactly, but it'll be fine. I could have just zipped that off all the way across here, but I want to save that. Maybe I want this piece on another card or something. So now I'm going to score this in the middle. I'm going to leave the gray dots, the polka dots, as the outside of the card, and the cool spider webs as the inside of the card. So just line this up on my score it so that it's exactly, so that the middle is in the middle. Oh, and I'm doing it the wrong way. I need to put my wrong side up. My card is just over, like when it's folded, it'll be 4 and just under a quarter. Just like, just followed the same size as some cards I had already in packages, card bases I had. But of course you can make envelopes any size, so make your card whatever size you feel like. Alright. There's the card base. And on top of that, sorry, I put my tools away. On top of that, I'm going to use this very loud patterned paper. I'm going to leave an edge so that it's matted. I'm going to grab a pencil. Some of you have seen me do this before. Sorry, it's hard to see. It's on the edge there. Let me just zoom my camera in and maybe you'll be able to see it better. Let's get in the middle of this frame here. Right, actually I think that'll be good. I don't want to zoom it too far in. Well, maybe give it a couple more. Alright, so I'm just going to mark my paper, and I could do this on the wrong side. That'd be alright too. Sorry guys, just trying to center it here for you. I want to leave quite a wide margin around the gray. So I'm just going to mark where I want to make my cut. I guess I shouldn't have tucked that paper trimmer away because I need it again. Should just leave it out. I think I'm going to need it a few times here. So we'll just line up your mark. can't see my mark because of my cutter. There we go. Put that cutting blade back on. And again, paper doesn't quite fit, but it will be fine. All right, so there's my background. So I think I'm going to put that right on. I'm going to wait because I do want to edge these out with some ink first. So my next thing is going to be my card topper, which is going to be this cute little guy. It says hand over the candy and nobody gets hurt, which is a little demanding for my liking, but I guess I could live with that. It's Halloween. Got to have a little fun. And I'm just going to cut him out on the trimmer too. I'm just going to cut all the way up, because I may want this Happy Halloween sentiment. Sorry, I'm just having a look at the rest of the page, and I think that might be the one. There's a trick or treat that might be cute. I'm going to cut this trick or treat out as well, but because of where it's situated, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out with my scissors. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it, but let's have it at the ready just in case. Cut that one all the way down. These guys will all need to be cut out eventually, since this sheet has got cool stripes on the back, but they included 2 of each sheet in the pack, so one of these can be cut out and the other one may be used as stripes, or we'll see over time what happens. It's also spooky and frightful. I think Trick or Treat's going to work better with this particular guy. Alright, so cut him the rest of the way out. And I think we're going to need to mat him on black. And perhaps some of the orange from the other side of this card. So let me just grab my black. I took a scrap of cardstock out of my bin. I got this one that's got some die cuts out of it. Some Halloween-y kind of die cuts out of it. I think I'll probably just mat him on there. Yes. And apparently my trimmer is not exactly straight. Maybe this was the part that was cut out previously. Who knows how I cut it? We'll find out later. No, we will never find out. Never mind. Alright, so before I mat him on black, I'm going to put him on orange, and then I'm going to put him on black. Just to give a little color contrast, because he's got gray, so I think the orange will really pop him off of that. And also the black will create a separation between this orange and the orange of the card. So I do want to stick him down to do this matting. I'm going to do it a different way where I stick the card down, but I'm going to go ahead and ink his edge first, the edge of this card, because right now it's just white. I'm using Black Soot Tim Holtz Distress ink. Now I could get really distressy and put it up on the edges, but I think I'm going to leave this a little bit crisp. So it'll still be Halloween-y, but it won't be grungy. So I'm just going to edge the very edge. Then I'm going to stick him down, which I think I'll do in this corner, so I don't lose too much paper. Now, of course, you can also cut the paper down to size and then cut a portion out of the back so that you're not wasting all of that paper behind, but I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to use a little bit of double-sided tape to put him down. This is Miracle Tape that I got at the Viva Las Vegas stamps shop. Just cut a piece of it there. I just attached it to my little desktop shelf here so I can just cut it easily. Oh, perfect. And then I'll just throw this piece in the middle. I think that should hold it. I tend to overdo my tape and my glue, but I think this time I'll try and restrain myself. Now you want to put it exactly where you want it on the two free edges. Just want a little bit of mat around it, just a little bit. And then you can go ahead and cut around to the width that you've already determined. I have to turn my cutter so I can see it. It must be above the cutter. Sorry guys, let me back my camera off so you can see what's happening. Cut it down. Actually, I'm just going to cut this out of here. I'm cutting wider than where my mat's going to be, just so to make it, for the ease of my cutting, I am going to end up with a little extra sliver of orange. But I'm sure I can handle losing that piece or throwing it into the scrap bin for other use. Alright, so now we've got a little tiny mat around this with the orange. Now I just move my cutter to the side, and let's do the same thing again with the black, but I'm going to give it a little bit of a larger mat than the orange. So each mat is getting progressively larger. I'm going to stick him down to that as well. Do it the same way. I think this particular paper pack is very cute, so I'm glad to have got it on a discount. And you can do all kinds of interesting things with your Halloween cards. This is a very simple, plain Halloween card. Oh, which I forgot to ink the edge of. So I'm going to do that right now, even though I've already peeled the tape. I'm just going to hold the spot on the back that doesn't have tape. I'm going to edge it up. I did get a little bit more ink on the edge than I had hoped, but that's okay because it's a Halloween card, so if there's a little bit extra black on it, nobody's going to panic. Alright. I'll zoom back in a bit. I am going to bring the trimmer back out, but I'm sure you'll know what trimming paper looks like. Looks something like this. I'll back that camera off again because, you know, let's just have the camera move in and out for reasons. A little bit wider than that. Alright. And so now he's double matted. I say he, there's a little doggy there too, so they're both double matted. And then actually, you know what? I think I might just leave him right in the middle. I don't know. Well, we could put him up a smidge. Sorry, I'm just figuring out the placement here. We could put him all the way up and have the trick or treat just below him. So I think that might be pretty cute. But again, we're going to have to mat the trick or treat. I'm going to mat it just on black. I think that just the one layer of black will do in this particular instance. And I did manage to get some black, more than I wanted up on it, so I might as well make it a little bit grungier. So the trick or treat sign portion of this is a little bit grungier. You can see where I've got some black ink up on it, just because of how I hit it with the ink pad. So make it good and grungy so it looks like I did it on purpose. And then we'll just mount it on, or mat it on, pardon me, some black card. And grab another couple pieces of the old miracle tape. So I hope everyone is enjoying the last days of August. It's starting to cool off here in the evenings. Getting a bit more rain than we normally do in the summer, so we can tell summer's coming to an end. So you can tell by the Halloween cards and other holiday cards that everyone's making. 'Tis the season to make holiday cards. Alright, I'm not gonna fudge with the camera, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this out over here. I apologize if it's a little bit off screen. So there's the matted trick or treat. And now that I've done all this matting, I feel like maybe I need to mat that background piece as well. So let's do that. Let's put this part on some black as well. Let's go ahead and edge the edges. I know this is a really quick one, guys, but frankly, I couldn't think of what to make at all today. I was having a craft pause, or whatever you might want to call it. Just couldn't think of what it was that I might want to make today. So I'm glad to have done this card. I really like it. I particularly like that this double-sided paper has this cool stuff going on inside. Maybe we should put something inside as well so that there's a place to write a sentiment. To write your own sentiment. Alright. Might as well go with the theme of tape. We'll put this whole thing onto the card with some wet glue so that we're not just relying on tape. It's alright to hold light things, but when you start getting something that's heavier, you might end up having a tape failure. It's one of the reasons why I go a little bit crazy on the tape. But again, I'm going to stick this to my desk and cut off a length of it. And because I only bought one size, I think maybe I'll just cut it down to a narrower strip to go around the edge here. Just to conserve a little bit, not to waste too much money on adhesive. It's one of the things that I need to think about is exactly how much product are you putting on this card? And does the card merit the amount of product you're putting on it? In this case, it's a pretty simple card. I think it'll be cute, but it's very simple, and so it really doesn't need to end up being an incredibly expensive card. So let's watch it with the adhesives. I'm just doing a thin mat, so there's going to be a lot of, there'll still be the cool gray polka dots showing through. Or around, I guess I should say, not through so much. Alright, so now that's matted as well, so we've got a nice finished look to all of the components of the front of the card. So I think that's gonna look really cute, like so. So let's stick these down to the topper. And in this instance, I'm also going to go ahead and use some liquid glue because this is getting a little bit heavy here. So I'm going to use the Tombow Mono Multi glue because I've got this bottle that's almost empty and I really want to use it up. I've been storing it here. Try and put it somewhere where I can keep the glue aimed down at the tip. I've been storing it with the tip I prefer down so that the glue goes to that end. Each end of that bottle is a end that you can squeeze glue out of. One's a narrow end, and one's got a it's the same size hole as the narrow end, but it's also got a rubber piece on it that spreads the glue out for you as you use it. So I'm just eyeballing that, centering it by eyeball. I'm going to do the same with this. This piece I've got going up a little bit onto the pirate trick-or-treater because I think it looks a little bit cute going up onto it a bit. Let's try and get it nice and centery, nice and centered. All right, so there's our card topper. And we'll just put glue all over the back of that as well. So I'm quite pleased to be able to start using up some of this paper from last year. I like to get the paper at the end of the season because for one, it's on sale, and for two, you have almost a whole year to fawn over it and think about how great it is. And then you can use it because you're like, oh, I have this issue about using my equipment. I don't want to use it until it's not new anymore. While it's new and novel, I want to look at it and enjoy it. But I don't feel like using it yet. So once it doesn't seem so new, then it's easier to use. So we got a little trick-or-treat card that says hand over the candy and nobody gets hurt. I think it's absolutely adorable. I think maybe on the inside we should just put a little bit of, let's say this orange paper. Let's go with the orange paper because we have it available. For writing a sentiment. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it as is. I was going to put the orange paper inside, but I'm thinking I might want it in a nice shape, and I don't have a die or anything to cut that shape that I want, so I think maybe I'll just leave it like this and consider the inside later. So thank you for coming and watching my show. I hope this inspires you to use up your papers and you know, to think about the holiday season if that's something that you celebrate or that you make cards for to sell, or you know, just want you to think about the holiday season. And I want to thank you again for watching the show, and happy crafting. All right, thanks for coming. Bye, everybody.